Hurling Championship quarter-final between Douglas and Blackrock. Mark Landers, Ger Cunningham are alongside me here in the commentary box to offer their expertise and insight into this derby game, and we will hear from the two of them quite shortly. Blackrock impressed hugely in the group stages with 3 wins from 3 against Erin's Own, Newtown and Bishopstown. Facing them are a Douglas side who showed huge heart and character in edging out Middleton in that make-or-break game. What a game that was here 2 weeks ago. But it is first time to hear from our managers. Mark Callaghan is the Douglas boss, but first let's check in with the Blackrock Bonner store, Fergal Ryan.
No, I'm delighted to welcome, I'd say for the second or third time we've spoken in the last month, which is a good complaint, Mark. Mark O'Callaghan, the Douglas manager. Let's go back to the game against Middleton. We're into injury time. Conor is standing over a free that would have brought the game level and into extra time. What's going through your head on the sideline?
Just kept the eyes closed, being honest with you, Colin, and just hoped to hear the whistle. But no, look, there's not much you can think about in those situations. Like, you just hope for the best on your side. Thankfully, he didn't have the legs in it on the night, and we were able to deal with it. Heart in the mouth stuff right when it dropped on the ground, but we got it away in the end, and thankfully the whistle went.
It was an incredible turnaround, though, in another way, Mark, considering like you conceded a goal after 70 seconds, and you know people have often questioned Douglas's heart in situations like that, but like the reply from I thought Brian Turnbull in particular, but from the entire side was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it was massive. Look, I'm after hearing from so many people throughout the week that there are games that they were used to seeing Douglas lose, and to see the heart from the players, it's after giving us a huge lift, being honest, because as people said, not just the Middleton game, but to come out of the group in general was a massive boost for our team. Like missing Brian now, as you say there, mentioning him, missing him for the SARS game, cost us probably on the night, but he stepped up there massively in the Middleton game, 4 points in the second half. Some people say he had a quiet first half, but at the end of the day, he won us 3 or 4 frees as well that Shane Kingston converted, so that's 8 points. You add that to Adam Cadigan's tally, Shane Kingston, the defence, the midfield. I mean, everyone was just superb on the night, like.
That issue of heart, I know it's kind of an easy cliche to roll out, but why was it lacking? Do you agree it might have been lacking in the past? What's different this time around?
I played. I mean, I've been involved in this team playing or on the management side of it for years, and I wouldn't say that we ever lacked heart. I would probably put it down to more experience. We were ahead of it in a lot of games, and we didn't close those games out. And teams with that bit more experience, I would say, got the better of us. I would personally say there wasn't a lack of heart there, but no, I will say we did show it though in the last few minutes against Middleton that it is there, and I was delighted. That was the best thing I took out of the night. Like, was that last 10 minutes? It just proved to people that it is there in Douglas. It might have taken a while to come out, but thankfully it has now.
Okay, well, it sets you up into a quarter final. Are you of the opinion, we've been having this chat across the codes, that you're probably as well off to go into a quarter final as opposed to waiting for a semi final?
I suppose there's pros and cons to it, but personally for me, like, the more games the better. I enjoy playing the games week after week. So, but as you say, the other side of it then, we've a tough quarter final coming up against Blackrock. They're a savage physical team, very good hurling team with a lot of pace as well in it. So look, we're going to have our work cut out, but on the basis of whether going straight to a semi-final or quarter-final, I would take the game, being honest, before the rest.
What's the history like with Blackrock and with you going back to your own playing days?
Personally, for me, my age group, we didn't have a bit of a battle coming up. When I broke onto the senior, then we were coming up against the likes of the Browns and Wayne Sherlock and Fergal Ryan and the likes, so there wasn't much competition there, being honest. But look, it is a local derby. They are neighbours down the road, so history or no history. Like there's going to be a bit of a bite to the game. They want to win a championship. We want to win a championship. We both now on a bit of a high coming out of our group. So look, it's going to be all to play for in the night, and both teams are going to be giving it their all.
No, delighted to welcome Fergal Ryan to our build-up for the coverage of Blackrock's game this afternoon. Fergal, thanks so much for joining us. We're just talking about the city representation, first of all, in the last 8 of the championship. People were talking about hurling in the city in trouble. It's far from it at the moment.
There's a good sprinkling of clubs, I suppose, left in the latter stages of the championship. And I suppose we're really only focused on ourselves, I suppose. But as a wider public maybe interest, that could be a good thing. I suppose we don't really have a huge representation in the Cork hurling setup. Micah Halloran is on it, who's just coming back from injury. But other than that, he's our only representative, really.
No, in probably in previous years that might have worked in your favour, in that you wouldn't be waiting on a number of other players to come back from county training. But of course, the landscape is so different this year. Is there a part of you that wished that you were still playing with the new format?
And no, I think obviously the pandemic has changed things dramatically this year, but I think you always got to welcome changes when they're done with the right intention. Really you don't know until you flow through a year as to how that's going to work out. But I think so far, I haven't heard anyone speaking too negatively about the changes, and I think generally people are looking positively at them. And look, I suppose if you're still involved, it's probably easier to say that. But I found them quite okay this year. Anyway, I'd embrace the changes, and let's see how the rest of it pans out.
Okay, in terms of the group games, lots of lessons learned. I suppose there has been. It's been different, definitely been different. But I think that's probably more due to the pandemic that we're in. But look, we've learned a good few lessons from the point of view of the games we played. I mean, our object was to win the 3 games, and we've done that, so we're very happy with that. And we came close to maybe, being a bit of a few points score difference between ourselves and the Glen and SARS. It was going to come down to that, and the Glen qualified for that semi-final spot. You'd always take it if you get there. And just on that, Fergal, would you? Is it that important, you think? We were having this debate with the football as well too last weekend. The entire issue of kind of playing games in quick succession versus that gap of a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it might be.
Yeah, no, we would have definitely taken it with both arms anyway. I suppose we discussed it ourselves within our own management team, and some were saying, would it be better to play an extra game and look the way our 2 clubs, Michaels and Blackrock, are set up. I suppose it would have been nice to have that bit of an extra week to get a little bit more done, because obviously we've got a number of players that are dual players, and lots of clubs have that. I suppose the benefit of not having that is that you've got your full setup with you all the time, and you don't lose any inter-county players. So from a Douglas perspective, because we're playing them next, I suppose maybe they'd see that as a good position to be in, that they have their inter-county players, because they have more than us from the point of view on the inter-county panel, and they also have, I think most of the guys with Douglas have committed to just playing hurling this year, are using it putting it as their number 1. So that's probably a benefit, but look, that's up to them to deal with that. We have to deal with the fact that we have dual players, and that's what we've done for the last number of years.
Do you have much of a crossover, and how do you manage it then in terms of training? Are those fellas just training specifically on a week for football if they have a match that weekend for football, and vice versa?
Yeah, that's how it works. So this week we have the footballers, and they haven't been doing any football. Last week the footballers were playing, so we didn't have those dual players that were playing hurling. They just went football training and played a match on Sunday, but they're back this week with us. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, we get over the game. But then the hurlers that play football will just be with the footballers next week, because they're playing their quarterfinal against their Rogue next week.
Okay. Did you have a major kind of restructuring of your preparations because of COVID, with the games coming so thick and fast?
I don't know, was it a restructuring? We just, I suppose, adapted to it. At the start, we had individual plans for all our players. When we got into smaller groups, we trained in smaller groups, and then we opened up as 15, and we took 2 sessions. So we had a session with 15 and a session with another 15. So you just adapt to it. It was very different, but from I suppose a club perspective, everyone was in the same boat. So there wasn't. You couldn't look at anyone saying they're doing a lot more than you. I mean, ultimately, you could only do what the restrictions allowed you to do, and we tried to do as much as we could within those restrictions.
Okay, and in terms, as we're kind of coming towards the latter stages of the championship, in terms of knocks and niggles and pulls and strains and everything like that, have you been lucky enough in that regard?
No, we've had a few injuries. So Micah Halloran is only just after coming back in the last 2 weeks. He had a fracture in his ankle. We played a challenge game against PSHC before we went out against Aaronsone, and he had injured himself there. Alan O'Callaghan broke his hand in football training. Before it, he's only just coming back. Played his first game, a challenge game there weekend just gone. I've had a number of injuries, and I suppose it's probably. Yeah, it's not ideal, but look, I think most clubs are dealing with some injuries in some shape or form anyway. But they were probably 2 broken bones. Niall Cashman just came back from his cruciate last year. Andrew Murphy is just trying to get it back. He pulled the hamstring off his bone last year, so he hasn't quite made it back yet. He's only just coming back into training. So yeah, and then there've been a number of other injuries. So just part and parcel of it, I think.
Okay, and finally, then, in terms of Douglas, I'm hoping that you were watching the Irish Examiner live stream coverage of the Co-op Superstores clash against Middleton last time out. What did you make of it?
Look, it was a very good game between 2 teams. There wasn't a whole lot between them. There've been probably two teams that everyone at the start of the year will say will be up at the latter stages. And look, when you come up against one of our 2 teams come up against each other, one of them is only going to go through, and it's been Douglas. And Douglas have I suppose, I won't say a star-studded team, but they have players on the team that are Cork players and that are high prominent players, and that'll be a test for us to curtail them and try and play our game. And I suppose we have some players that Douglas may look at that they might treat in the same vein and say we have to curtail some of their players. So it's I don't expect it to be too much in it, and I suppose I know it's a bit of a cliche, but the team bringing the bigger fight and the most hunger will I think create more chances, and hopefully that'll be us in the day.
No, I'm delighted.
And our thanks indeed to Fergal and Mark for their time during the week. Welcome back to Páirc Uí Chaoimh, the Co-op Superstores Cork Premier Senior Hurling Championship quarter final between Douglas and Blackrock. It's only less than 10 minutes away. Before we get into talking about that, though, some breaking news here in Cork in GA circles this morning. Game off that between Killa and Kilworth due to a COVID case in Killa. And of course, Mark, you being a Killa clubman, Killa native, what's the news from down home?
I suppose the news is that I suppose since day one, since the pandemic broke out, the club has done everything in its power to enforce all the protocols that the government have put in place. And just unfortunately, the information is still a bit sketchy, Colm, as to how the player got picked up the infection and stuff like that. But look, I suppose the immediate thoughts are with the player himself, that he's okay and that he's well and that his own family are well. But I suppose it just shows that we can't ease up on any protocols, and we just constantly, players and clubs all over the country, need to be very, very careful. And I suppose, look, I suppose we've got so far this year already in the championship that we're down to quarter-final stage now today in hurling and football in Cork without any major case to date, which is the important thing as well. But the club have from day one, under the stewardship of Coleman Motherway, have been very, very strict on the protocols. But I suppose it is like everything, you can't really control what people are doing away from the pitch and stuff like that. And again, just to reiterate, I just hope that the player in question, that there's nothing serious and no major ramifications from it.
Okay, right, let's get back to the action here in front of us. We'll take a look at the teams. We'll start off, and the 2 teams already out in the field having their warm-up. Blackrock is first up on the screen here. I'll just have a read It's Gavin Connolly, Richie Lade, Gary Norberg and Jamie Ryan. The full back line. Half back line, it's Cathal Cormac, Niall Cashman and Stephen Murphy. Midfield, it's Daniel Meany, a talented footballer as well too, and David O'Farrell. Half forward line, Mark O'Keefe, Kieran Cormac and John O'Sullivan. And the full forward line, Alan Connolly, Shane O'Keefe and Robbie Cotter. That's the team we were given anyway. We'll see if there's any changes to that. And you wouldn't be surprised, Mark, if there's a few of the names in the subs bench that might make an appearance.
You know, very strong subline. You've the likes of Alan O'Callaghan, John Cashman, Michael O'Halloran and Ty Deasy not named in the first 15. I think we're going to have to wait, Colm, until we see the first 15 actually taking the field. But that's the team that has been announced. So just to run through it, we did the game earlier on in the year with Aaron Zone, and I was very impressed with Richie Lade at cornerback, and he'll have his hands full today with Alan Cadigan. In the half back line, Cathal Cormac, who's the brother of Kieran Cormac, playing centre forward. He was excellent in that game as well. Niall Cashman, who's coming back from a cruciate ligament, he's the son of Jim Cashman and a nephew of Tom, two famous Cork hurlers, and it's fantastic to see him back. He played in the last round of the group stages and he starts today. Daniel Meany, son of Liam Meany, who played centre forward in a number of winning Blackrock teams, and up front I suppose the big player for me is Alan Connolly in the first round of the championship, and he's been a sensation all year, and really looking forward to see how he'll perform today. Shane O'Keefe is named at full forward. I actually expect either Shane or Mark Keefe to pick up Owen Cadigan today at half back, because you know, for Blackrock to win today, they'll need to curb the influence of Owen Cadigan at half back.
Well, just on that there, we're just hearing the team being announced there, and your prediction was right that Michael O'Halloran, wearing number 22, is in instead of Robbie Cotter at corner forward.
I'm not surprised at that. Like, you know, and it's not because of Robbie Cotter. It's actually for Michael O'Halloran. He had a fracture in his ankle earlier on in the season. In the first round match we played, he was in a boot, and it's fantastic that the championship has gone on so long for Blackrock that he's getting an opportunity to start today. And he's a player that really a physical, aggressive player, and a player that I suppose the Blackrock will be looking for to get scores today.
Okay, we're going to take a look at the Douglas team now, and apologies just with the noise there in the background of the PA system. Team we have in goals, Donal Marr. Full back line, Brian O'Neill, Connor Kingston and Donica Murphy. Half back line, Owen Cadigan, Mark Harrington and Killian O'Donovan. Midfield, Keane Baldwin and Stephen Moylan. Half forward line is Owen Dolan, Shane Kingston, Mark O'Connor. And then the full forward line is Alan Cadigan. A change here then, he will be wearing number 14. It's not Shane Dunnigan who is on our graphic. He is out injured. Conor Russell will be coming in at full forward, but will be wearing number 14. And number 15, Brian Turnbull. Bring you in on that there, Chair.
Yeah, straight away, I suppose, Colin, when you look at the Douglas team, what strikes me really like is the potential, 11, 13 and 15, Shane Kingston, Alan Cadigan, Brian Turnbull, three outstanding forwards, and they've been the really driving force behind Douglas this year. I think they've been outstanding in the games, and it's difficult enough to mark one forward, but to have three forwards of real quality there. Their half back line looks also quite strong. Owen Cadigan has been playing all the matches out at 5. Mark Harrington, Killian O'Donovan. So they've been what's been most impressive this year, I think, Colm, has been their work rate. There's a different feel, there's a different vibe, there's a different look about Douglas this year. Probably because I think their inter-county lads have been with them all year and have been driving it, and they're also probably not playing football either, which means that there's a big focus on the hurling. They have a serious plus in that. Like, they had a great win the last against Middleton. They've come through a knockout match already, which I think is, you saw last night with the SARS coming through here in zone. Had that little bit of an edge because they played Newtown. They had to win to get a result, and it's a bit similar today, I think, with Douglas. They had to go to they played Middleton in a game they had to win.
Well, wonderful conditions here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh this afternoon for this Co-op Superstores Cork Premier Senior Hurling Championship quarter-final between Douglas and Blackrock. You mentioned there too, Brian Turnbull. Mark, we saw him here 2 weeks ago. He's given the Douglas attack just an extra edge, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, Alan Callaghan got 5 points in the first half and Brian Turnbull got 5 points in the second half, all from play. He's a lad that got the minor hurler of the year 2 years ago. He suffered a cruciate ligament after that, missed the season, but he's growing, and he's still not anywhere near his full potential, but he could be anything yet.
Okay, well, we're off and running. Cathal McAllister is our match referee this afternoon, experienced container. We're in for an exciting 60 plus minutes of championship action here this afternoon, and that was a nice piece of fielding there by Cillian O'Donovan, who showed up so well in the game against Middleton. I think he finished with about 3 points that night. Free been taken quickly by the centre back Mark Harrington, out as far as Cian Baldwin, who's opted to go short into Alan Cadigan. Cadigan, clean pair of heels by him, and over the bar. So starting with intent there, Ger, from Douglas' perspective.
Yeah, a very good short free there, taken down the wing, worked Alan Cadigan, and again lethal off his left hand, and he's been our top scorer so far from play, and a really great score from. But interesting. Here's Michael O'Halloran with a chance to equalise.
And that's a fine score. Big hand by O'Halloran and a great ball by Niall Cashman.
Yeah, and great ball in, a great crossfield ball from Niall Cashman, who's picked up. It looks as though he's.
Shane Kingston, John Cashman is on Shane Kingston.
Yeah.
Chopping and changing.
It's Niall Cashman, I think. I don't think John Cashman is starting.
Niall, of course, son of Jim, former Cork under-21 player as well too, taken out there by Richie Lade, the cornerback. Opted to go short there to Shane O'Keefe. Managed to get it back by accident. Lade is tearing down the sideline, passing it in there, and it's after falling into the centre forward Cormac. But good block there, and it's Brian O'Neill that's going to clear out the danger from a Douglas perspective. Good clearance out by him, about 60 yards, but all he can find is Cathal Cormac, his brother Kieran, the centre forward. And it's gone right back to Niall Cashman, he's centre back in acres of space. Long delivery again there from Cashman. Has got the distance but hasn't got the accuracy, and that's tailed off wide.
Yeah, and a good opportunity for Niall Cashman there. We saw last night there's a very strong breeze blowing into the Blackrock end here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, but the game has started at a mile a minute and there's an extreme physical edge to it already.
Certainly is. Interesting to see Shane O'Keefe is out more in a central position, and Michael O'Halloran in around that full forward position. That was the wing forward there, John O'Sullivan, but the tap was illegal, and free, the first free of note. It's going Blackrock's way.
Yeah, and a bit unlucky, I would say. Cillian Donovan there, he actually knocked the slitter off his hurley, and in the collision with it, we can hear it up here clearly that there was a strike on the hurley, but he actually won the ball, and it's very questionable as to whether that was a free or not.
I presume by the letter of the law, though, is it deemed a free, Ger?
There was contact with the hurley, but as Mark said, he definitely got the ball, and if you got the ball from me, that's not a free, like, you know what I mean. But it does give a chance for Alan Connolly here to put the Rockies ahead.
Alan Connolly there from about 50 yards, and the accuracy is in with him. Of course, his brother Gavin is back in goals. Famous family, grandson of Mick Cashman, played for Cork in the 50s and the 60s. Taken out there by the wing back Cillian O'Donovan, hugely impressive in that game against Middleton. First time ball right in towards his corner forward down there, and it's held up superbly down there in the corner by Turnbull, who's opting to go back to Owen Dolan, and Turnbull now is racing off towards it, but it looks like it's going to be Conor Russell that's getting to it. Nice play back to Owen Dolan. Douglas patient build up, they're gone all the way back to Shane Kingston, turning this way and that way. Kingston taking the pass all the way from Turnbull, and Kingston from about 30 yards, and that one has gone over the bar.
Great score from Shane Kingston, but it was fantastic work from both the forwards and the defenders there. Blackrock defenders kept turning the Douglas forwards. Douglas forwards never panicked and got it around to their shooter. Great composure on both sides there, and a great score from Shane Kingston.
Great puck out as well too from Gavin Connolly. It's almost onto the edge of the exclusion zone on the far side. O'Halloran racing out for it there. The opening score of the afternoon from Blackrock's perspective, and he's after doubling his tally there.
Excellent score from Michael O'Halloran again. A great response from Blackrock. Come up to field, Cullum, ball pucked out, and Cullum and Michael O'Halloran, who has started a full forward, won a good ball out on the 21 metre line, and off his left hand put a great score over the bar. A real captain score.
Hard to believe it's almost 5 minutes elapsed. It's breathless stuff here. It's Blackrock who lead 3 points to 2, with a sideline being awarded down here in front of us. It's Shane Kingston who's holding on to it. We've seen him do all sorts of moments of magic and wizardry over the last number of weeks in the Co-op Superstores Cork Premier Senior Hurling Championship. What's he got up his sleeve on this occasion? Opts to go back to his wing back to Cillian O'Donovan, who has the range as we've seen before. Didn't get a full connection on that one, so it's dropping in. Great piece of defending there. Blackrock man out to claim it, and out as far as the midfielder to David O'Farrell. Racing after it there is the other midfielder. It looks to be Daniel Meany. Route 1, and the big hand of O'Halloran catching that off the left. He has been so impressive in the opening 5 minutes. That's his 3rd point of the afternoon.
Yeah, and Michael Halloran has really taken the game straight away to Douglas, but the supply of ball that is coming into him is excellent. But for me, the big thing is that he's actually winning his own ball independently, high in the air, and he's delivered 3 points all off his left hand side. Good quality striking and a fantastic opening for Blackrock.
Certainly is the case, and that's pushing them out to 4 points to 2 of a lead there. It's Brian Turnbull who's jinking this way and that way. Takes the return pass there from Dolan onto his left. Turnbull from about 50 yards, and that is a fine score.
Excellent score from the ball came on the wing to Brian Turnbull, and again working hard, went inside, brought the ball back in, and off his left hand put it over the bar. So real some great scoring early on the game.
A real fast open field to this clash. Another powerful delivery by the goalkeeper, dropping it in around the danger zone. Being picked up there by Alan Connolly. Great defending by Brian O'Neill to hold him out. Works it all the way back to the centre forward, and the centre forward Kieran Cormack from 21. It was just sitting in the pocket.
Sitting in the pocket, but I must credit Connolly because he had won the ball first time. Good flick into his hand. He was well marshalled by the Blackrock with the Conor Kingston. Probably looked like he may have got a free, but in fairness, McAllister left the game develop, let it run, and out to Cormac. It may have been even a goal opportunity if he wanted to go for it.
That was Alan Cadigan trying to get on it, just spilled off his hand there, and Blackrock clearing it away from Cathal Cormac. The other Cormac, of course, his brother at centre forward. O'Halloran is calling for the ball inside. Is it going to go to him? No, it isn't. It's going to be a shot from the wing forward wearing number 12 and has driven it wide. That's John O'Sullivan. But he had O'Halloran inside screaming for the pass as the pitch opened up in front of him, and took the wrong option there. Dolmar is the Douglas goalkeeper. Oh, that's a wonderful piece of fielding there by Kingston.
It's magnificent.
And Shane Kingston off his left.
That's magnificent to see that goal, like to field the ball. He'll come up with his left to catch the ball with his right hand off from a puck out, turning off his left hand over the bar. That's a magnificent score.
Spring off the ground there. 5 points to 4. It's Blackrock who lead. 7.5 minutes gone in this Co-op Superstores Cork Premier Senior Hurling Championship quarter-final clash, being live streamed right around Cork, around Ireland, around the world, and we're delighted to be bringing you this game with thanks to the Co-op Superstores, the sponsors of the championships in hurling across all the grades in Cork.
Yeah, and I suppose one feature is that Cathal Cormac has gone in centre back to mark Shane Kingston, which is a big play, I suppose, from Blackrock to move Niall Cashman out of centre back. But at the moment Shane has started very, very well, and but all over the field it is so obvious the amount of communication that's going on between both teams. The fact that we have no crowds here today, you can actually hear everything that's going on.
Shane Kingston taking a heavy knock there. He's down on the ground, and we'll keep tracking on him as the medical attention is rushing out onto the field. Back out with Cillian O'Donovan here in front of us. Play continuing. Kingston is back on his feet. Miraculous recovery there. Foot race is on, and it's Conor Russell who's going to win that one. He's got Alan Cadigan for assistance if he needs him, opting to go himself, being hooked and harried by Gary Norberg. Looked like he was I was going to say he was fouled, but referee didn't see it that way. Blackrock regroup, and out they come here on the 45-yard line. Great play though by Kingston to dispossess David O'Farrell and try and return possession. Great work there by I think it was Mark O'Connor in there as well, eventually finding the other wing forward. Owen Dolan gets the shot off, had plenty of time, but rushed his effort and driven it wide.
Yeah, but great pressure being applied by the Blackrock defence. And again, I suppose to mention Gary Norbert getting back there on the corner forward for Douglas. He dispossessed them for super player. And the other thing is that Stephen Murphy, who was selected at half back, has gone back to mark Alan Cadigan.
That high ball been well dealt with there time and time again by Douglas. Their kind of safety in numbers attitude there. Mark Harrington there. Actually, no, that was Keane Baldwin coming back to help. Small bit messy there, but Blackrock managing to get a wonderful score from their centre forward there, Kieran McCormick. It looked like it had kind of broken away from him and he just pulled on it. And that was a fine effort, and it's 6-4 now with 10 minutes gone.
Yeah, just saw it came there, Mark, from a misplaced pass from Mohan Cadigan. It went a bit high into the, and Blackrock turned it over really well, and Kieran Cormac kind of hit in hope kind of over his shoulder, but it went over the bar. So,
but there's a huge physicality about this Blackrock team, and you can see Kieran Cormac as centre forward has twice now won the ball and blown his direct defender out of his way to strike 2 balls over the bar.
It's a real slugfest here, it has to be said. Keane Baldwin is on the ball there, just outside midfield, going to go to Owen Dolan. Dolan going to go short inside, and it's Baldwin that's after taking the return pass, and Baldwin after putting it over the bar. Lads, this looks like it's going to be a real heavyweight slugfest, isn't it?
In fairness to Douglas, I think they've come back every single time, but they've come back every time when the scores have gone against them. The Rockies have hit them with a couple of sucker punches, but 11 great scores, and there's only 10 minutes gone.
Yeah, I think 10 of the scores out of the 11 Jurafat come from play as well.
Interesting to see, I think, as well too, the Douglas defence seems to be more structured today. Great strike there off the left. Has it got the accuracy? Yes, it has. Brian Turnbull, the man there. But in terms of the high ball, they've obviously been studying that ploy, and they're back in numbers.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, Mark Harrington, it says, is fairly walked, and Michael Halloran has come to centre forward now. John O'Sullivan has gone into corner forward. The Blackrock forwards are moving all over the place as well. And one of the O'Keefe's has gone out to mark Owen Cadigan as well. And it's
O'Halloran that you just mentioned
again,
a few
that's
moments
an absolutely great score again. He's certainly leading by example today, Colm. Brilliant score from the puck out again. He's gone out now centre forward, but the Rockies forwards seem to be moving in different, they seem to be rotating in different positions, so they're very hard for backs to pick up a guy when you're playing and all of a sudden the next ball comes and you're on somebody else. So a great opening to the start of the game. Yeah, just in the last few moments I see there Kieran Cormac, who was at centre forward, has gone out onto the wing and is now being picked up by Cillian O'Donovan, as that shot there I think was Mark Harrington that got it off and driven it wide. But keeping the Douglas defence guessing as Blackrock rotate in and around. Under it there, breaking onto it there is the full forward, the name full forward, that is Shane O'Keefe, getting the ball away. But again, the Douglas defence back in numbers. There's always about 2 extra men there helping out. Shane Kingston taking the delivery, and off he goes. Takes a pull across from Carl Cormac, and that's going to be a free. And if it has gone wide, and no, it has gone over the bar, but the referee was waving on advantage there.
And
good
that
play.
Was the big thing is that Cathal McAllister had kept his hand up on the whole occasion to give him the opportunity. They always knew that he was going to get the free if the ball didn't go over the bar. So good play by Cathal McAllister on the whistle. Great
play by Cathal McAllister there. He had waved that it would have been a free if it had gone
I was
wide.
just going to say before Mark said it there, I think we've had 13 minutes of play, but I think he's very noticeable. He's trying to let the game go as much as possible, and I think we've been encouraging that very much all throughout the championship, that the referees let the game flow and try not to be blowing and having a free taking contest between both sides. So fair play to call. If there's an obvious free, you blow it, but like in that occasion the hand was up for the free. Shane got a chance to put it over the bar, and a great score again.
And I think if players know that is the style of refereeing, they'll work accordingly.
They'll adapt to it.
They're much happier come to have a situation like that where they know they want to play the game. They don't want to come down to a free taking contest.
Cillian O'Donovan a bit of space here, putting it in there towards Owen Dolan. He's blocked and hooked there by Niall Cashman. Bit of a scrum developing. Somehow the ball has managed to be kept in play by Turnbull. Manages to get it across to Shane Kingston yet again. Another hurley being pulled, and that's the second time that Cathal Cormac has done that. He could find himself in a spot of bother.
Yeah, but when you have somebody like Shane Kingston, the pace he has and what he's doing is he's winning the ball first time and he is going directly at you. He's not going around you, he's going straight at you, and that is very, very hard to defend. So there's only one way to defend the Cullen. You either stop the ball going to Shane Kingston or you get out in front of Kingston, because if he gets that ball in his hand, he is gone from you.
Young Turnbull did well too there, didn't he, Jared?
Yeah, he's done
did he get out?
Yeah, he's won a lot of ball, has come up his side. What's been impressive is that he's he's getting on the ball, he's controlling it, he's trying to take his man on, but he's willing to come back in and look and bring the ball back into play. So he has started really well.
Fine strike there from Kingston, pushing it out to Douglas, 8 points to 7. We're coming up on 15 minutes. Great piece of fielding there. Looked to be Mark Harrington that went up for that one, the centre back. Owen Dolan getting on quite a lot of ball, as is this man, Cillian O'Donovan, the wing back, and he's plenty of options, screaming for the ball down there. Brian Turnbull being one of those, but on this occasion the defence got back, and Niall Cashman, at the second time of asking, getting it away. The big hand of Mike O'Halloran down there, but it's picked up, looks to be Brian O'Neill. Reinforcements being called. Steve Moylan coming back to assist, as Blackrock still trying to push anything out. Daniel Meany getting the shot off in the end, and Meany, the midfielder from about 55 yards, has put that one over.
Yeah, and again, great physicality in the lead up to it. And just to concur with what Joe was saying about Cathal McAllister a while ago, he is consistent, and now the message is quite clear to the players. Unless it's a clear and obvious foul, you're not going to be getting a free for it, and that's really what the players want. And once it's consistent, the players will be very, very happy with that column.
I'd say this must be one of the most welcome water breaks we've seen in the Co-op Superstores Championship. Lads, it's breathless even up here, isn't it?
It's outstanding. It's 15 minutes gone. There's 16 scores in the game, and not too many from frees. It's all been open play, and both sides are really up for the game. There's plenty of open play, there's plenty of support play, and the accuracy has been absolutely brilliant. So it's been a brilliant open quarter. So hopefully we'll get the same for the next one.
What has impressed me hugely has been the work rate of the Douglas attack.
Yeah, absolutely, and on the ball, because they are being hounded by the Blackrock defence, and they're being made to turn around, but their other comrades are there waiting for that response and waiting for the ball to be played back to them. But I think overall, Colm, all from the keepers up to the other side of the field, it has been non-stop from the word go, and that is exactly what we want. We're always looking forward to it, but it has been complemented by Cathal McAllister on the whistle as well.
Indeed, couldn't concur any more with you on that one there. Great performance by Cathal, as you would expect of someone of his experience. Want to mention very quickly that the Rockies have recently opened a brand new restaurant. It's called Rico's at the Rockies at their Church Road complex. Business is booming, customers enjoying pizza and wings in a refurbished, socially distant environment. They asked me to give that a mention, and I'm sure there might be a few of them watching our live stream this afternoon, and I hope they're enjoying the fare here. And
it's one of the things I heard, from the SARS pavilion last night was booked out for meals. I know there were 48 tables there, and there was other eating houses down in Glounthaune that were booked out to see on zone, and that is a way of bringing the community together as well, and giving the restaurants around the communities a bit of support as well.
Ball hitting off, it looked to have hit off Cillian O'Donovan. Yeah, the linesmen concurring with that, and it's going to be a sideline down here in front of us, and it's going to be taken by the wing forward John O'Sullivan. That missed there after about 5 minutes. Haven't seen as much of him since. Former under 21 county winner. Great strike by him, but just had a bit too much pace, too much power in it, and it's gone out over the sideline, but a good connection though nonetheless. Short puck out on this occasion by the goalkeeper, and taken up there by Donica Murphy, and off he goes. He's got assistance inside him from Owen O'Dowd, who's helping out hugely. He's midfield and half back line. Great ball in as far as Turnbull. Brian Turnbull off his right. That's a good looking effort. It's a great looking effort, and it's pushed Douglas 9 points to 8 up.
Yeah, great. Like you maybe at times you'd look at the Rockies are leaving Douglas take the puck out short, and they're working the ball up the pitch, and that went into Turnbull again. Got the ball in plenty of space, turned his man off from his left onto his right, and he's an extremely accurate player, and an excellent score from Brian Turnbull again.
Yeah, wonderful play there. Conor Russell was trying to make space for himself, but Norberg did ever so well there, saw the danger and got it away. And Blackrock now in possession. But look at the harassing there coming up from their wing forward, trying to put David O'Farrell off his clearance in. O'Halloran coming on to it. This is danger here. Oh, that's a wonderful block there by Conor Kingston to get across. For a second there, it looked like O'Halloran was winding up for something. Mark Harrington helping out as well too and working it right across, and it's found its way out as far as Steve Moylan, midfielder, 2013 of course, played in the All-Ireland, that classic against Clare. Brian Turnbull's on the ball, he's got a runner inside him, that's Conor Russell on the 14. Russell with the shot, great save by the goalkeeper Gavin Conley. Great save by Conley to get down and delay the inrushing Conor Russell.
And the game, could have flip-flopped there, Colin, because there was an opportunity down here for Michael O'Halloran. I think his first instinct, he was going to pull on it, and he probably said, look, no, I actually have time to pick it. And when he did pick it, and great touch from Conor Kingston to get it, and then the ball swung straight down the field. Great play by the Douglas defence, funneled the ball down to Conor Russell, and he got a great opportunity, but a magnificent save from Gavin Conley, and an opportunity now here for Douglas to push it out to 3 points.
Yeah, fantastic save by young Conley. I suppose, Jerry, as the goalkeeper present here, I think you should critique that.
Oh, excellent save. Like, in fairness, what was noticeable is that there was a chance for Brian Turnbull to take the point, but he turned and he turned and made a pass to Conor Russell to go for goal. Excellent shot. He looked to be going as if he was going to his right, and he blocked the ball back to his left. Excellent save, and they got away with it now again. The fact that Shane Kingston missed a 65.
Oh, great piece of goalkeeping there by the young man. Alan Conley's on the ball there. Going back to David O'Farrell, midfielder. He's got a runner inside him. That's Conley again. He's options inside him if he wants to go, but wonderful play there. Looks to be Owen Cadigan that got back and did the needful. And here comes Brian O'Neill on that far wing, getting a powerful clearance down despite taking a heavy blow as he offloaded it.
But just going back to the passage of play beforehand, Alan Conley had won a very good ball, took it on. Daniel Meany had made a 30-yard sprint on his inside. He was actually on the overlap. If it was given inside, Meany was in, I think, for a goal.
And those are the small turns in matches that can decide outcomes. Gavin Conley, he's got a big, powerful puck, doesn't he? And here come Blackrock again, all from that, and a swing.
Just probably a noticeable switch too, lads, is that Alan Connolly has gone out wing forward on Owen Cadigan. Whether they're just is just part of the rotation, or whether they feel that Connolly's movement he might have a bit of pace and might upset Owen, but he's getting under the ball, and the Rockies are onto the breaking ball there, and he was I'm not sure who was pulled back, but an obvious free and a chance here for the Rockies to live it up again.
Yeah, and it could be a bit like that, Joe, like that maybe the stationary player, like one of the O'Keefe on Owen Cadigan, is just a physical battle one-on-one. Why would you be pucking it out then to Owen Cadigan? But if somebody like Alan Connolly was out there, he'd have to go running, and then Owen Cadigan would have to go after him, because you can't allow somebody like Alan Connolly to be left on his own.
John O'Sullivan was the man that was fouled there, by the way, and it's Alan Connolly taking the resultant free there from about 25 yards, and Alan Connolly, an easy one for him to convert, and bringing us now to Douglas 9 points and Blackrock 9 points, all square with 22 minutes elapsed here. The sunshine here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh starting to break through the clouds. Pitch, as always, looking in immaculate condition. Well done to all the team involved in making sure that remains the case. It's Owen Cadigan taking the short puck out over to Steve Moylan. Moylan showing a clean pair of heels there, but being tracked back there by one of the Blackrock players, getting a block in. That looks to be Cadigan right across the field here. And it's taken up by Owen O'Dowd. He's got a runner inside him, and that's Cian Baldwin. Defender trying to get out to him, and Baldwin going first time. Conor Russell chasing after it, but the goalkeeper for the second time denying him very quickly off the line there. Gavin Connolly getting the danger away, but you could see the intention there as Douglas were going looking for goals. Daniel Meany, powerful delivery again, falling to John O'Sullivan, and an offload there. It's Niall Cashman forced to go to ground. Cashman on the 21. There's a bit of a block coming in from Cadigan, but it can only come as far as Connolly. He's got a man outside him. That man is the full forward, and that man is after blasting a super save from Donald Marr to deny Shane O'Keefe. Super save by the goalkeeper, getting down ever so quickly there. We were after seeing an exhibition of goalkeeping in the last 2 or 3 minutes there. back with Owen Dolan. He's been here, there and everywhere this afternoon. Dolan going across the field. Bit of a struggle there for the corner forward, Alan Cadigan, underneath that one. This is mile-a-minute stuff. Kieran McCormack going to go a bit shorter on this occasion. Connolly's racing out with Brian O'Neill chasing after him, and it's Donica Murphy, the other cornerback, that clears it back to Donal Maher. And Maher has got Killian O'Donovan here in front of us, helping out. O'Donovan has a man outside him screaming for it if he wants to go short. He opts to go with that, and it's Owen O'Dowd. O'Dowd again has another man running onto it. And that's right here in front of us. It's the midfielder Cian Baldwin. Baldwin again, this short 40-yard play. The foot race is on there, and well won there by Cadigan. And Alan Cadigan falling back.
Yeah, it's actually end-to-end stuff. You haven't even getting a chance to take a breather in the game, and it's a magnificent performance by both sets of players at the moment. Both sets of communities must be thrilled with their players. The commitment and the effort that's going in at the moment, and the standard is excellent.
Absolutely phenomenal. This is young Alan Connolly yet again, looks to be foul. Referee though, again, as we said, Cahill is waving play on, letting it flow back to Donal Maher, and big clearance by him out, putting Shane Kingston under a bit of pressure, and Blackrock back again and dropping it here in front of us. Looks to be John O'Sullivan, the wing forward, who's gotten out to that one. A little jink. Another class piece of play by O'Sullivan, and that is a wonderful effort in the end. Killian O'Donovan though could find himself in trouble here for a bit of a throw of the hurley there, but that was some composure by O'Sullivan.
Yeah, I think we'll see a yellow card here. I think the first yellow card will be given out to Killian O'Donovan, and rightly so. I think Michael O'Halloran, to be fair to him, turned around, spinned away, made nothing of it, and did his business, knocked the ball over the bar. But what a performance from Michael O'Halloran after 25 minutes of 5 points in play. And the other thing is, I suppose, is that Kingston, Cadigan and Turnbull all have 2 and 3 points from play, so all the top names are producing the performances as we'd expect from your inter-county players.
In action here, and it's Niall Cashman there from distant. Has it got the legs? The goalkeeper tracking it all the way, and I'd say he's after picking up a bit of an injury there on his hand, is he?
I'd say it looked like the ball might have trapped his fingers on the crossbar. I'd say came down top of the crossbar. Yeah, is what it looks like.
Yeah, he went to catch it, and the ball landed on top of his finger on the crossbar over the bar. But I'd say he should be, it should be okay. Interesting tactic by Douglas as well, Mark. Like Owen Dolan comes back quite deep, like into the half forward in front of us here, and he's asking questions of the Blackrock half back then as to whether they go with him or not, and they're working the ball up the field as an account of it.
Donal Maher seems to have recovered anyway. John O'Sullivan, who got that wonder score a few moments ago. David O'Farrell has a bit of space in front of him, a bit of green grass, and gladly makes use of it. Yeah. Makes use of the wind as well and points it.
Niall Cashman is very dominant as centre back under the puck out, and what's noticeable is that the 2 midfielders, the Blackrock midfielders, seem to be picking up a lot of the breaking ball, even though it was John O'Sullivan that time, and laid off a great ball to his midfield partner, to David Farrell in the middle of the field, and got a great score.
Bad bang there. Looks to be Niall Cashman that's gone to ground there. He's clenching his face. Smash of the ash there, and that's Killian O'Donovan was in there. I don't think it was he's hurley in the end. Let's track back with the play here. I'll tell you, it is absolutely incredible stuff here this afternoon. It's Michael O'Halloran again. O'Halloran trying to work a score there. He's turned it and he's gotten it over the red spot. That's a fine score, and a bit of a purple patch here now from Blackrock.
Yeah, well, they've gone from 8 points to 12 up, and all from play as well. And Michael O'Halloran is usually influential in that. But I think going back to the incident there, and Joe, you might want to cover it. Definitely Cahill missed
that was a low blow. Yeah. Owen Dolan pulled and he hit no ball, and he hit Niall Cashman across the head. Look, he had the helmet on him. But I thought that was certainly, I think if that was missed, if you look back on that, that was a red card, Vincent, in my view. Like he pulled on no ball.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see whether the referee, he's anxious to get on with the game, but Niall Cashman is being treated on the ground, and rightly so as well, and he should be given the time to recover. But look, I would say in the spirit of the whole game at the moment, Jordan was only just maybe a mistimed situation, but he's very lucky that he's not going into the book.
Yeah. The last couple of minutes, Mark, as well, I think the Blackrock, John O'Sullivan, Michael O'Halloran have come into the game. Shane Kingston, Alan Canigan have kind of drifted a small bit, have gone out of the game a small bit. Blackrock have taken over in the half back then. I think Daniel Meany has done some great work in the middle of the field. He's done an amount of work off the ball as well. He's kind of hooking and blocking and putting a big shift in.
Cutting down space as well, yeah.
Treatment still continuing on there for Niall Cashman. 28, nearly 29 minutes elapsed here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh.
Like Douglas are playing with a 2-man inside line, and Blackrock are playing with a flat 3 in the full forward line.
The medic seems to have done their job, and Niall Cashman is back in play, and here come Blackrock yet again. Shot there from out wide. The goalkeeper is waving it wide, and so too is the umpire. But Blackrock certainly having their heads up in the last few moments.
I think Blackrock will need that 4 or 5 points advantage to go in at half time, lads, because it is quite a very strong wind out there. We mightn't see much of it up here, but the flag is blowing really strong.
Shane Kingston dispossessed there, and it's Dave Farrell who's opting to go wide on that occasion. To be pulled down with the referee saying play on, and off we go. 2 Douglas men racing after it. Now that's Brian Turnbull. What can he manufacture on the 21-yard line? Turnbull off his left, and Turnbull getting a crucial score to just break that momentum.
Yeah, I think, and the lead up to that play, I suppose that Mark O'Keefe had the ball. He certainly looked like he was fouled, but Cathal McCallum is not going to let that go today. He's leaving it develop. He looked for the free, he didn't get it, and it was turned over. Turnbull out in front, won the ball, took it on over the bar. Great score.
And it's Alan Connolly there. Still Connolly, he's after kind of hooping it up into the air, but he's after winning a free anyway, so that's a free there for Alan Connolly, who's going to take that one himself. The wing corner forward, who's also, of course, the free taker in chief, and great pedigree as well. I'm told he's grandnephew of Jimmy Brown, who's the club president, and according to some of the lads in Blackrock, would this be the case, Mark?
I played minor with in minor in 1990. We were beaten by Kilkenny after a replay, and Jimmy Brohan was a selector on the minor team, an absolute gentleman of a man. Joe, you'd know him from the city. Absolutely, he's Tom Cashman. He's related to Cashman.
Yeah, great hurling man. Jimmy been involved with Cork over the years as a selector from many years, like, you know, and a more staunch Blackrock man you won't get.
Hopefully he's watching and enjoying the action here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh this afternoon. I'm not sure would he be too keen on what's developing down here. We've a Douglas player down the ground. Not sure who it is.
I think it could be Mark Russell, I think.
The umpires have his hand up below that. The umpire has, which is obviously, maybe he saw what happened, because we were watching up here, Alan Connolly taking the free and putting it over the bar, and all the Raz was down here just on the top of the D that Conor Russell seems to be down.
The last thing Blackrock now need at this stage is they need they're hurling well on top. The forwards are scoring great scores overall context of the game. The last thing they want now is a red card for an off the ball situation. But like we've seen the pressure that's on referees already this year when Cahill ref the first game, where the umpires were involved. I think Rob Downey was sent off for a bit of a tip on the Bars player, and the last thing they want now is Gary Narber going into the book here.
But I know it's the cliche, it hasn't been that type of game. It has actually been a very clean, free-flowing game, apart from like the last 5 minutes, those 2 incidents. Gary Norberg being talked to by the referee, and it's a yellow card.
It might be a small reaction to the earlier incident there where Owen Dolan pulled earlier on Niall Cashman. So hopefully that's the last of that now, and it's been a great spectacle so far. So hopefully they can get on with playing the ball.
Yeah, well done to your eyesight anyway, Mark. You were picking it out. You are correct in that it was Conor Russell who's the man who was receiving treatment, but he's back on his feet, and it's back with Douglas. Looked to be and a heavy shoulder there on Alan Cadigan. Survived it, but was the ball fouled in the build up to it? Shane Kingston has it. 3 Blackrock defenders coming in, and it's still Douglas who are trying to ferret it out. It's gone back to Mark O'Connor. Mark O'Connor from 45 yards has driven that one over the bar. But you'd go back and say that there was a foul there, and some words coming in there. I can see one of the Blackrock players is now down on the ground, Stephen Murphy, and it to be Owen Dolan who came in to have a little word in his ear there.
Yeah, he did, and there's no place for that in the current game, to be honest with it. There was a touch of Roy Keane and Alfie Hingan a couple of years ago as well. There's no need for that kind of carry on. But
we won't repeat what we said that time.
But in general, but what I said earlier on about the Douglas forwards recycling the ball, there was great play by the Blackrock defence to turn Shane Kingston on a number of occasions. He didn't panic and he funneled the ball back to the right man and the shooter.
Mark Harrington from 70 yards. Harrington dropping a shot, easily taken by Gavin Connolly there. 33 minutes gone on the clock. We've had those few stoppages, and we'll probably have another stoppage here and possibly another card for a high arm.
Daniel Meany, I think, is the player involved in this situation.
Yeah, it was Owen Callaghan who was coming out, and there's a bit of tenseness after developing in the last 5 or 6 minutes, isn't
there?
Yeah,
but I'd say players are actually just getting a little bit tired now at this stage, because it has been non-stop from the word go, and some of the tackles are just getting a bit loose, and they just need to settle themselves now.
Shane Kingston standing over the free. He had brought it forward a couple of yards onto the halfway line, but the linesman has come in to correct him and show him exactly where he wants to take it from. It's pushed it back to maybe about 6-7 yards beyond the halfway line. This will be a big test of his range. Good connection though by Shane Kingston, dropping onto the edge of the square, and with that, referee Cormac McAllister blows the half-time whistle, and it's Blackrock who lead 14 points to Douglas's 11. We're going to have half-time analysis and comment from the lads in 40 seconds time. I don't know about you watching at home, but we're catching our breath up here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Mark, the word you used there a few seconds ago, absolutely, or 2 words, absolutely brilliant.
It's breathtaking. It's phenomenal from the get-go. There has been no real slackening off in the pace of the game. 14 points to 11. Good number of those scores have been got from play as well. I suppose Blackrock have had 6 different scorers in the first half, but in chief Michael O'Halloran has got 6 points from play, which is magnificent. It probably maybe just shows that maybe when a fella gets a break, he gets his enthusiasm back for the game. But he has been outstanding in the first half, as has been the whole Blackrock team and the Douglas players as well, because I suppose up front the 3 main players for Douglas in Shane Kingston has got 4 points, 3 from play. Alan Gallagher has 2 from play, and Turnbull has 3 from play. And we know they're going to get those scores. Whatever way you look at it, those 3 players are always going to score for Douglas, and it's a case of if Blackrock can limit them over the course of the game. But I think the big thing for me is that Blackrock have played with the breeze at this stage, and the question is, they have a very, very strong bench. The likes of, I think, Alan O'Callaghan, John Cashman, and maybe in particular Tyg Deasy could be match winners yet before this game is over.
Okay, Ger, we were talking there from the start. He wasn't down to start. Michael O'Halloran, hugely influential in this game.
Absolutely, he's Blackrock's captain. He's Blackrock's. He's been around for a couple of years. He's a mature player now at this stage, and he's a lad with a great attitude, and he's one of their leaders. And as Mark said, he's been missing for a couple of weeks with injuries, and he's come back and he looks really, really sharp and fresh today. He's gone on a lot of ball. He's been from wing forward, corner forward. He's been full forward. He's been everywhere, and he really has led by example. And again, Blackrock are strong all the way through. For the period in the second quarter, they kind of dominated there for a few minutes. Their half-back line got on top, their midfielders got on top, and they came through and got a couple of scores. And but 3 points up, that win is still quite strong. I think Blackrock's tactic in the first half, they've given Douglas, they've given them the ball from the puck outs, and they've left Douglas work their way up. You'd wonder now if Douglas will stay with that tactic. Will they continue to work the ball, because the temptation with the wind is to lamp it a bit longer into the square. Brian Turnbull is very sharp, looks really, really sharp today. Alan Callaghan has been well marked by Stephen Murphy, who's probably their best man marker, and hasn't been in the game as much as Turnbull. So certainly all to play for. And as Mark said, maybe you'd look down at the difference in the benches there to see who have Douglas to spring in relation to that'll make a difference to them. And I know Shane Donegan got injured during the week, and he's a big loss to them, and it meant that they had one less to go with. you'd have to say Tyke Deasy looks to be the odd man, or the obvious man to come on there at some stage for Blackrock, and say from their point of view they'll be looking for him to close out the game.
Yeah, like we haven't probably seen a whole pile of Alan Connolly at this moment in time. It is an extremely physical game. He's a young light lad, and he's a bit like the Turnbulls and the Alan Cadigans. He probably would prefer a ball played into the corner that he can get out first to it and take on his man. He's but he hasn't lit up, I suppose, he hasn't lit up the game yet, Colm, I would expect, and there is a way more in him. But I think from Fergal Ryan's point of view and the Blackrock management, the likes of the Tyke Deasy is a big, strong, physical player, and the fact that he didn't start doesn't start today, he'll have a point to prove to the selectors as well, that if he gets an opportunity, I think he could be a key fella before this game is over.
Two great goal chances, Jern, two great examples of wonderful goalkeeping as well.
Absolutely, two excellent saves from both Gavin Connolly and Donald Maher, one on each side. Really, really top class chances. I suppose Douglas haven't been noted during the course of the championship to get goals. They've been happy enough to. That's why I was happy to see Turnbull, when the chance was on, that he gave the pass for the goal rather than just tip it over the bar. A goal here could be a huge factor in the game, and in the course of the championship, Blackrock have got the goals, and they've got
goals so far.
Goals.
Four was it last time?
Four last day.
They've 861. Sorry, Joe. They've 861 scored so far. And Douglas have won 161 scored, so 1 versus 8 goals. There certainly is goal opportunities in there, but you'd have to say it has fallen one for each side at this moment, and there hasn't been any other. But it's great defending on both sides as well at the same time. Forwards.
Again, I think fair play to Conall for letting it go from the point of view. I think, and that might, when players see that happening, they probably do take a bit of liberty, knowing that Cahill is going to be, he's letting it go. So that might be the reasons for the two instances that we had. Hopefully not, and hopefully they'll get down to go back playing. We've had 25 scores in the first 30 minutes, and if we can get the same again in the second half, we're in for a thriller.
Yeah, it's magnificent. It's end-to-end stuff, and it's a magnificent. I suppose it's a Southside derby as well, in the city as well, and you'd have to give credit to both teams the way they're going at it. But it's been really complemented by Cahill McAllister in the middle of the field as well.
Very much so. Now we've talked about the attacks and how potent they are, but I suppose huge credit has to be given to the two sets of defenders as well too, for their approach, and there hasn't been that many frees conceded either.
No, there hasn't, and but it's more the physical nature of certainly looking at the Blackrock players, the way they have constantly tried to turn the tricky forwards of Douglas. I mean, when you're marking the likes of Turnbull and Alan Cadigan and Shane Kingston, who are really fleet of foot, and you're playing here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh in a fantastic surface, all those lads want is a half a yard and they'll turn you. But I think that the Blackrock defenders have tried their best to stop him, to turn him, to force him into mistakes. And then on the other side, I think Owen Cadigan has been reasonably okay, but he hasn't had the influence that he's had in the Midleton game for me, and Blackrock are doing a reasonably good job at probably keeping him at bay as best they can.
Well, they're certainly pushing up compared to the last day. I think Midleton left wing forward, he left him off. They went out the field and he didn't go after him, and he held his position. Certainly Blackrock are playing much more traditional 6 up and 6 forwards, going man to man. So the wind, as you say, sometimes when you're playing against the wind, the game can open out, and you'll be looking at maybe at Alan Connolly and maybe John Sullivan and Michael O'Halloran getting on more ball in the second half.
Yeah, they've gone to the 2 Kieran Cormac now in the half hour line, big strong half hour line, and they've gone with the light lads inside of John O'Sullivan, and Alan Connolly has gone full forward now, a straight swap in on Conor Kingston.
You're watching the Co-op Superstores Cork Premier Senior Hurling Championship quarter final. It is Blackrock 14 points, Douglas 11 points. We're just underway in the second half. Our live stream today being brought to you with thanks to the Co-op Superstores, who've been hugely supportive of our coverage throughout this campaign. It's Douglas who are off and running there, with Mark O'Connor getting the effort off, that one trailing wide, but you can see there maybe in the background the tricolour fluttering behind goalkeeper Gavin Connolly. So as Ger pointed out, there is quite a strong wind there. How important is that going to be over the next 30 minutes or so? Keane Baldwin going long, but all on his own there is Gary Norberg. No one near him, and it affects a big powerful clearance down there towards his full forward. It's Brian O'Neill, the cornerback, who's down there trying to pick that one up. Mark Harrington in there as well. Eventually cleared out, and foot race on here in front of us towards Alan Cadigan, gone in over his head. And outside it's Shane Kingston who's on it. Kingston trying to work an angle for himself, and Kingston off the left, and We're running out of words for this man.
Yeah, and Shane Kingston has gone into full forward now at the start of the second half, and it looks like that Brian Turnbull is probably playing in a more reduced role at wing forward currently, but that could change around again in the next couple of minutes.
It'll be also quite a shrewd move actually, because Cathal Cormac has gone in at full back now on Shane, and he would not be normally. He'd be more of a wing back or a centre back rather than playing full back. And Douglas have gone with one up top now, so if they can get the ball into Shane, look, he'd be on a 1-to-1 situation, so there's a lot of space.
Back at the other end of the field, and Michael O'Halloran going back out to his midfielder, to Daniel Meany, and Meany shooting wide there. But again, that big hand of O'Halloran, so dangerous. He's a great target man, isn't he?
He's a massive target man, but I would think with the pace of the first half that if these players can continue to keep up the same pace, it would be magnificent. We may see maybe lads getting tired through the course of the second half, so mistakes are going to be made, and we saw 2-point opportunities that you probably would have expected the lads to score, but they didn't.
Steve Moylan getting the shot off there, but trailing wide. Interesting as well too to see that Donald Maher's puck out the extra few yards that it's having there with the impact of the wind. Just back on that thing, you're talking about players moving into positions and having a lad in at full back that wouldn't be used to it. Would your viewpoint be that players should track? We'll just follow back that as the goalkeeper takes it, that the player should track his man, or you should have a dedicated full back who's just going to be there whoever comes his way?
Well, I'd say, obviously today, I'd say Blackrock have decided that Cathal Cormac is going marking Shane Kingston, and so no matter where he's going to go, he would have expected Shane to be out centre forward. But if they're going man to man, that's obviously the call now, that they stay with him and no matter where Shane goes. So it's an interesting tactic by Douglas to see if they can isolate Shane on a 1-to-1 inside. Most important thing now is if they're going to do that, they're taking one of their best players out of the half-forward line. They need to get the ball into him and give him quality ball to give him a chance to score.
Dolmar with the long delivery. And it's ferreted out there by Conor Russell, and Russell off his left and driven that one wide. Had that bang there in an incident with Gary Norberg before half time. Looks to be a substitute coming on there on the Blackrock side.
There's Ty Deasy coming on, I think.
Yeah, we've seen 4 wides now already in the first 3 minutes of the second half, and we've seen a couple of mistakes as well. So just the lads are a little bit tired, but it's just that they need to get back in and get their composure back again.
And whatever carrots Ciara Cunningham is eating, I'd recommend them. He is right, it is Ty Deasy that's coming on, it is Kieran Cormac that's making way. Mark O'Connor there taking the shot there from distance, and Mark O'Connor driving it wide. Are these kind of rush shots from Douglas?
Yeah, some of them are rushed, and but I mean that's 4 wides for Douglas straight after half time. They could be gone into the lead at this stage if there was a bit more accuracy with them.
Probably the temptation as well, Colm, like against winning the first half, they had to walk the ball up the pitch knowing that those shots mightn't have been on, whereas now they're taking pot shots from a long way out.
But that's the second or third ball now that's gone into the keeper's hand. Just the lads, I think they're probably realising what's at stake now. There's a massive county semi-final for both teams, and they would probably, whoever wins today would probably fancy themselves to get to the final.
Again, here long range ball. Owen Cadigan came out with a ball and hit the ball across to Mark Harrington across his own 45-metre line, and again would have been better off to look to hit the ball into Shane Kingston, who had gone into 1-to-1 at the top of the D, but look to score himself. And that's the temptation, Colin, when the wind is there, that you have the advantage of it. But when they go wide, they're a bad miss.
And Shane Kingston didn't hide his annoyance or his frustration there either, Ger. I don't know if you saw him there. If we had a pitch side microphone, we might have picked up. He was literally bouncing around with disappointment that Harrington had gone long on that one.
Well, again, I bring it back to the point. If you're going to put him in there, you need to give him the possession. You need to give him the service. He's looking inside. He's actually quite frustrated inside there, and you're maybe not surprised to see him coming back out, because in the 5 or 6 minutes since half time, he's had 1 chance and 1 score. So if you're going to put him in there, you've got to feed him the ball.
Niall Cashman looked to be setting up for the sideline. Then the referee wasn't happy with the timing. Then Ty Deasy arrived over, and in the end Colin McAllister said, lads, this is all taking too long, give me the ball. And in the end Brian Turnbull has it, but he can only get it out as far as Michael O'Halloran. Eventually it's won back by Brian O'Neill, the cornerback, and Douglas coming with Mark Harrington Now, are we going to see Shane Kingston on the ball on this occasion? Yes, we are. Lovely piece of skill by Kingston to kill it there on the 21-yard line, opting to go back to the runner that's coming from deep, and it's Turnbull, and Turnbull slotting it over. And I think, maybe they heard exactly what you were saying.
Well, it's again, I'm just repeating myself. Given the ball, I know they looked up. Mark Harrington this time, had the ball in his hand, looked up. Maybe the point was on, but again, Shane had made a dummy run, was held by Carl Cormac, but got the ball into space. And instead of shooting himself that time, heard the call from Brian Turnbull, gave him the pass, and I think that's Turnbull's fourth point of the game.
John Cashman is on. David O'Farrell has made way. So we have Niall at centre back, John now on. Whether he'll be into a midfield role, we'll see. Free being awarded there as two Douglas players fouling. Look to be Michael O'Halloran.
Yeah, but a great win by Michael O'Halloran again. So he's showing his aerial ability for a forward, which is great. It's great from a Cork perspective as well that you have a real ball winner. Whether he's played on the inside line or the outside line, we'll have to wait and see how that season or how that'll progress. But we mentioned at half time about the Blackrock bench, and already after 6 minutes we have Ty Deasy and John Cashman have been introduced. John Cashman's coming in the half back line, and Niall Cashman, his brother, has gone to middle of the field.
It's young Alan Connolly taking the free there, and Alan Connolly converting it and pushing it out to a 2-point game yet again in this Co-op Superstores Cork Premier Senior Hurling Championship quarter-final between Blackrock and Douglas. Blackrock leading, but it's Douglas in possession, and they had it for a second there. Owen Dow doing all the hard work. That's a nice piece of skill there by Owen Cadigan to bring it back down. Has a man waiting inside him, but he's going to get a hefty blow in the back there. Not sure he's going to be a free there, as Mark O'Connor was barreled out of it by John Cashman. Nice little get to know you for Cashman after a few minutes after his introduction.
But it's a poor free to give away, Cullen, because he was 65 yards out in the sideline. He was of no threat whatsoever. Maybe he's only just back into the team. I know, probably over enthusiasm, I suppose, to get to the ball. But like from a nothing situation now, you're giving Shane Kingston, who's on fire at the moment, you're giving him a free shot at goals.
Here's Kingston. And the Douglas backroom, who are just behind him there, loved the strike of that. Long before it was gone over, they had it already up on the scoreboard, and it's back to a 1-point game, 15 points to 14. It's Blackrock who lead Douglas here this afternoon. Ball going out over on the far side there, flying off John O'Sullivan.
Yeah, but there's a couple of things that have just fallen against Blackrock there now. The slow taking of a sideline ball that converted into a point, a needless free that was conceded and has also turned into a point, and Pele has carried the ball out over the line here now. Just those small little things are going against Blackrock at the moment.
Gary Norberg eventually restoring a bit of order there. Back to John Cashman. He's wearing the green helmet, wearing number 20, going rope 1, but that was under Cadigan there, but it breaks away from him. He's in for the second, and you can see that touch of class that Owen brings to proceedings. Ever so cool, ever so calm. Back to Dolmar, his goalkeeper, and Marr, huge clearance there, dropping it down on top of Conor Russell. Breaks all the way down as far as Mark O'Connor, who opts to go back to Turnbull. Turnbull, though, that's a great block there by Niall Cashman, who came across and hooked him. Walk down across the field there, Shane O'Keefe. And O'Keefe right on the 65-yard line, and O'Keefe has the distance and he has the accuracy, and that has pushed Blackrock out to 16, Douglas 14.
It's the second score in the second half, Colum, and that's their first one play. It's taken them all of 10 minutes to get their first score from play. So again, they're just keeping their noses in front, and every point is vital in this when there's nothing in a tight game like this.
And interesting to see as well too, the Blackrock defence. Very cool under those high missiles coming in from the goalkeeper.
And there again, like you look, I know you see
Shane
again.
Kingston in splendid isolation inside the edge of the square, and taking pat shots instead of hitting the ball into him. The other thing that is noticeable, I think, is that young Alan Connolly probably doesn't have the physique to take on Conor Kingston. I'd love to see Ty Deasy actually going in full forward on Conor Kingston, because I think he'd have the physical ability to take him on.
Here comes in, it's Niall Cashman going through in as far as Michael O'Halloran on the 21-yard line. O'Halloran covered up by two Douglas players. Did ever so well there. Mark Harrington is the man clearing it out here as far as Owen Cadigan takes the shoulder. Has to come back for seconds and is helped out by another Owen. That's Owen Dolan. Harrington now first time. Kingston still all on his own inside there. Conor Russell going up for defender, though, did so well there, and it's back with John Cashman. First time down the field there by him. But as the lad said, is the Kingston ploy working? At the other end, the accuracy of the Blackrock attack is working in no uncertain manner, and that's Shane O'Keefe. Two
points from Shane O'Keefe. Two massive scores in the context, because Blackrock has struggled a little bit in their forward line to get on the ball, but he's struck one off his left and one off his right. Two big scores there for Blackrock.
Substitute being warmed up here for Douglas. We'll keep an eye on that in a moment. It's John Cashman getting on quite a lot of balls since his introduction a few moments ago. Mark O'Connor being harassed there by Daniel Meany, eventually getting across. Was waiting inside there. Was Turnbull, I think, was inside, all on his own. Alan Cadigan getting half a block inside there as the ball is raining down. It's 2-on-2 here, and it's
a goal on here.
Shot coming up, and what a goal! What a goal by Alan Conley. You just mentioned him a few moments ago.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought he was struggling with the physical, but he flicked the ball down, got on the break of the ball and round his man, and actually took Brian O'Neill as well on the outside. But what was more important, he hit the ball across the goalkeeper into the far corner, and a great strike and a massive score in the context of the overall. I said Blackrock would love now to get another score on top of it.
Oh yeah, it was and I think that Conley could find himself in trouble there now.
I think that was accidental, Colin, for me. I know there's probably a yellow card, but the ball broke up, and in fairness to Conor Kingston, he's up straight away. I think Alan went to try and intercept the ball and maybe make contact with Conor Kingston's hurley or helmet, and yellow card for Alan Conley.
What was most impressive there, though, about Conley was the fact that he did the hard work, but he just knew there was one place he was going. He wasn't going to be happy to tap it over.
Well, he's a forwarding since he's after getting goals in all the matches so far this year with Blackrock, and he knew there was only one thing on when he made the chance and he made the space for himself. He put it down the bottom corner. A really good goal.
Substitute, by the way, that's on is Andy O'Connell. He's wearing number 21, and he's after replacing Conor Russell, number 14, who took that heavy blow in the first half. Back with the action here, and it's Blackrock now, certainly with the wind in their sails. Nice little piece there by Tadhg Deasy, man that came on a few moments ago. Talented footballer as well with St. Michael. That's still Tadhg Deasy. Shot by Deasy. Goalkeeper did well to knock it out for a 65. But Deasy had one thing on his mind there as well.
Absolutely, and that's what you want to see, and Joe will know that himself as being Cork selector at the moment. That what you want to see is that your forwards want to take on the man at all occasions. Great save by Donald Maher in the goals for Douglas. But if he scored the goal, Colin, it would have been a massive score. I've been trying to think if he might have been better off to take his point and push it out to 7 points, because it would be a 3-score game at that stage.
Yeah, great save from Donald Maher, though. In fairness to Tadhg Deasy, really took it on, opened up his legs and went forward and went for the goal. And again, great to see that he had the confidence to go for it. And Alan Conley now has a chance to put them 7 points up.
Yeah, has that strong wind to contend with, but Alan Conley gets a clean connection on that 65 and points it, and pushing it out to 1 goal and 18 points to 14 points in this Co-op Superstores Cork Premier Senior Hurling Championship.
Douglas are crying out for the water break now. I would say, Colm, just for the management, Mark O'Callaghan, to get his team back in and say, listen, we're 7 points down now, and in a quick of a flash, Blackrock have moved it out to 7 points, but it's more the mistakes and the 4 or 5 wides that Douglas have had in the first period of the second half that's probably costing them at the moment. And
is it fair to say as well too, the deployment of Shane Kingston in it full forward as well too will be one that they could look back on?
I think as Jora's already mentioned, they didn't supply him the ball. What's the point of putting him in there unless you're going to give him the ball?
Shot coming off there from Andy O'Connell. He's only on the field about 2 minutes, and he's after driving that one wide, and that is the whistle there for the water break.
Wide ball, yeah, that was wide. That was a wide ball, yeah.
Wide ball, yeah. No.
Well, there's very little, there's nobody here, but the atmosphere is electric, and it's electric from both sets of mentors and whatever few supporters and subs that they have. There's huge encouragement coming from both sets of subs. And they're really letting their players know on the field of the play that they are delighted and thrilled with the efforts on both sides.
Did Douglas get it tactically wrong there?
They made a call. I suppose they were trying to, again, they're trying to isolate Shane inside with Cathal Cormac. But again, if you're going to do that and your best players inside there, you must give them the ball. Blackrock have got a goal and 4 in this quarter, even though they were slow out of the blocks. But that goal will be absolutely crucial in the context of the game. But I think Douglas, just again, as Mark said, just were, they began to go for their own scores from long range out. I think Blackrock's greater experience over the years of playing together, like they're working the ball up, and that the wind forced you to do that when you're playing against a strong wind. They probably have more threat up front. And Shane O'Keefe has got a couple of scores. Alan Connolly is dangerous. Michael O'Halloran, Tyke DC. Whereas below here, Alan Cadigan is not featuring in the game from a scoring point of view with Douglas. Offlot and Shane and Brian Turnbull to get them to scores, and there's probably a greater spread of scores in the Blackrock forward line.
Well, we mentioned there at half time about Blackrock and their ability to score goals at crucial times. They've done that. Are there goals now in this Douglas attack?
Well, you'd have to. I think I can see Douglas scoring 8 points in the last 15 minutes, which is what they'll require. They'll need a goal or maybe 2 to get back into this game. But it's a magnificent context in the overall context of the Senior Hurling Championship, and that's really what the supporters are looking for.
Ross Howell, wearing number 23, is in for Mark O'Connor, who was wing forward, wearing number 12. So Ross Howell is the man that's in the last few moments' time. So let's see now what's in the tank coming down the final 15 minutes for this Douglas side. Brian Turnbull went up for that one there, and he took a blow. Referee saw a foul, and. It was a bit of a. It was Alan Cadigan actually.
He is very, very lucky that he's not going into the notebook, because Norbuck is already on a yellow, and it probably was a yellow card. Yeah. He gave him a poke after the ball had gone, and now
to block him and to kind of put him off, and to maybe he wasn't blown for a third man tackle, and he just left the hurley there.
But there was no need for it, because the ball was going to be cleared, and if he goes to the book again, he's going to give him a yellow card. But he's very, very lucky, Joe, to get away with that. And like Blackrock are in a winning position now. They don't need to be conceding frees and needless stuff like that at a crucial part of the game.
Alan Cadigan furious, and he's telling Cathal McAllister as much with the blow that he picked up there. End result though is still a free. About 21 yards out. Shane Kingston is going to be standing over this.
And what's more, George, is he actually won a great ball in the air. He did collide, I think it was with Alan Cadigan maybe, and maybe there was a bit of retribution in it, but there was no. He'd done his job, very effective, won the ball, offloaded to the cornerback, which is going to be cleared. But now it's going to be at least a point. Would Kingston go for the goal with 12 minutes left on the clock?
Take his point, I would think.
I think so, yeah.
I think he'll tap it over the bar.
Will it be enough, that, George, at this stage?
Yeah, you're right. Great drive by Kingston. The defence, though, were standing up for it and knocking it out for 65.
Yeah, and
this is vital not to put it to keep it. He went for it, and he's getting a second chance to get the point. They need to keep the scoreboard ticking over. If this goes wide, it'll be a huge lift to Blackrock.
Huge lift to Blackrock. This will be like Blackrock getting a point at the other side of the field, or maybe even a bit more, because they've also got away with the incident that Norbuck didn't go into the book like.
Big free now in the context of the game.
Second bite for Shane Kingston from the 65. Has that bit of a breeze behind him as well, and Kingston has struck it well, and struck it over.
Yeah.
As you said, psychologically alone, that is so important for Douglas. It's 180 now to 15 points, 6 points between the sides. Still plenty of time though. There's 10 minutes in this Co-op Superstores Cork Premier Senior Hurling Championship quarter-final in Páirc Uí Chaoimh Stadium. Looking fantastic in the sunshine here on this September Sunday afternoon. Hard to believe in normal times. Would you believe today would have been the All-Ireland Ladies Final in Croke Park? Instead, it's all about the club at the moment, and maybe there's some good to be taken from that as well.
Again, Cullum, I think Douglas have gone back to attack everyone inside. Alan O'Callaghan has gone in full forward on Stephen Murphy, which is a good matchup, but Gary Norbuck is just playing in front of him on top of the D. So if they get the ball into Cadigan, he can be dangerous inside there, but there's the score for Blackrock.
Well, it's a good matchup if the ball is delivered properly. Tyke DC, he's only on the field 10 minutes. Talented footballer, I know as well, but he's certainly shown some great hurling skills in the last few minutes as well.
He's a big, strong player, and has an eye for goal. And when he's on song, he's definitely a match winner for Blackrock.
Richie Lay there that was picking out Michael O'Halloran, and O'Halloran from distance. That is a fantastic score from O'Halloran. Has been so crucial to Blackrock in this game.
Well, if there was a man in the Metro Ward, Cullum, and we've only 50 minutes gone into board, 7 points from play, he'd certainly be high up in the ranking at this moment in time.
And it's pushed it out to 120 to 15 points. And as Mark pointed out, we're down the final stretch of 10 minutes. The shot coming off there from Alan Cadigan as he fell backwards in trademark Cadigan style. And he's after putting that one over. It is end-to-end stuff here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh this afternoon. Where is all of this going to finish up? I hope you're enjoying the coverage as much as we are here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh this afternoon. I know people watching right throughout the city, the county, the country and beyond. And please do get in touch with us on social media as well. We'd love to hear your thoughts and your feedback. The shot there that came off there from, I think it was Mark O'Keefe that got it off, but no joy there.
Yeah, and like Cullum, I suppose the average scoring for Blackrock this season has been 320. The average scoring for Douglas has been 120. And at the moment, you know, it's looking like that'll be something close to that by the end of the 60 minutes.
Now, what can Douglas manufacture here? It's another effort
score again from Cadigan.
And it's another piece of wizardry from the corner forward. He's fighting a lone battle up there though at the moment, and it's brought it back to 120 to 17 points. But it's one of those ones, every time Douglas get that score to cut the gap, Blackrock seem to come right down the field and do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. The game is still in the melting pot. Like, anything can happen, and we saw that last night. Ballincollig played against Blarney last night, and there were 7 points up at 10 minutes to go, and Blarney reeled them in and won by a point. So this game is far from over.
Referee spotted something going on over there as Shane Kingston was racing after. Good play again by the referee. Knew that Kingston was in a race towards the sideline and a tighter angle, and has called play back there and a free which Kingston himself will take.
The next 3 or 4 minutes I think are crucial. I think Douglas need to get the next 3 or 4 scores, like, you know, because they seem to be responding to Blackrock's points. A bit of a tit for tat, but they need to get 2 or 3 scores themselves to bring them into the game
and stop
the conceding above. Like, you know what I mean? They need to hold on here. So again, in the context, every free is vital, but again, a huge free here for Shane Kingston.
Cramp already setting in on the other end of the field. One of the Blackrock players receiving treatment. Let's follow on with Shane Kingston, and Shane Kingston has put that one over the bar, and it's a 5-point game with 6.5 minutes of regulation time here. I'm sure we will have a few stops for extra time for a few stops, etc. A lovely piece of fielding there by Owen Cadigan. Scored a lovely point against Middleton, of course, last week. It's Brian Turnbull, field opening up for him. Loses it though. Jamie Ryan, son of Fergal, perfectly positioned to hoover up and clear the danger, and getting it right down the far end, and it's DC that's under it, but good play by cornerback Donica Murphy. Going out as far as Killian O'Donovan, he's wing back. DC's a tall operator though, isn't he? Playing with St. Michael's. They have a tasty game coming up next week against Éire Óg, the football. Repeat of last year's Cork Premier Intermediate final. It'll be an eagerly anticipated game. Great play there by Daniel Meany to burst through in as far as he's full forward. He breaks back though, and it's Kingston who launches that one from distance. It's a huge effort from him, but it's trailed wide.
Yeah, but you give great credit for Douglas to Douglas now at this moment in time, Colin, because they are fighting on their backs for everything. They're putting extreme pressure on all the Blackrock players, and they're overturning the ball. And as just said, the game next 3 or 4 minutes now will decide who's going into the county semi-final.
Heavy blow there on the substitute that came in there a few moments ago. That was Ross Howell. Going to be a free, but that was a magnificent piece of fielding there a few moments ago by Owen Cadigan down here in front of us, and Brian Turnbull just so desperately unlucky. The ball kind of spilled away from him, and Jamie Ryan perfectly positioned to clear away the danger. Shane Kingston is after coming all the way back here to take this free. Kingston, powerful shot by him yet again. Has he got the accuracy on this occasion? Yes, he has. We're down to a 4-point game.
That's a magnificent score, and you know it is. You know, Blackrock, I suppose we discussed what Douglas have to do. Blackrock have got to stop conceding frees now, and they've got to keep delivering that ball into Tyke DC and Alan Connolly inside.
Huge puck out again, and it was DC that was under that one, and there's a race developing. The Douglas defence though standing up. Small bit messy there. It's Mark Harrington on the ball there, and he's on 14-yard line, forced to go back as far as Connor Kingston. But running into a wall of Blackrock players, and Killian O'Donovan is eventually getting it away. Kingston too eager almost to get on it, and runs it out over the sideline.
And Robbie Cotter has come into the team. He's a player who played with Christians a number of years ago. He's turning into a very, very good forward for Blackrock. But they've made a big mistake here by taking a short line ball that has been intercepted. And now there's a double interception from Michael O'Halloran. And if that goes over, it's a big, big score in the context of who's going to win this game.
Huge score by Michael O'Halloran, because it pushes it out to 1 goal and 21 points to 19
I'm not
points.
sure, Mark. I'm not taking scores. Are you taking stats? I don't think Michael O'Halloran has missed a shot from goal, has
Not
he?
a shot. And I have him for 8 points from play, which is magnificent, Joe.
Great play here in front of us by Blackrock to clear away the danger. It was good work by the cornerback there, Richie Lade, on that occasion. Douglas managed to return it with favour from Mark Harrington, dropping it in on top of Cadigan, but he's got 2 players around him, and Blackrock working it back to goalkeeper Gavin Connolly. Kind of a strange puck out there, didn't connect with it properly, and it's Andy O'Connell that's on the ball. Andy O'Connell being pulled back as he went to strike, and referee coming across here, and there'll be a little name for the pull down there. Now, if you're Shane Kingston or if you're the Douglas bench, do you go for goal on this occasion?
Well, if he went for one on 10 minutes to go and there was 7 points in it, it's down to 5 now. There's 3.5 minutes or 2.5 minutes left on the clock, but we know there's probably going to be another 3 or 4 minutes added to that. I'd say tap it over. I think Douglas are in the ascendancy at the moment.
I think at this stage as well, Douglas need to push up on the Blackrock. They need to push up on the forwards. They're not going to hardly get a goal when it's a 2v1 inside in the full back line. I think they need to push up and try to get that goal.
And Blackrock have moved Gary Norbuck back as a third, I suppose a second full back in front of Alan Cadigan as well.
Here's Shane Kingston going to go for the goal. Great defending on the line back there. Had beaten the goalkeeper and has resulted in a 65. I think it was the wing back that got the touch on it there at the end. Was it Cathal Cormac?
Yeah, and that's two efforts now. He got the 65 from the last one. He'll be hoping to, and he has been excellent on the frees and the 65s, and his general play has been excellent as well today, Shane Kingston.
There's Kingston from the resultant 65, and has pointed that one. But great defending, it has to be said, by Blackrock.
I think now they need to take a chance at this stage now to put Turnbull, Cadigan and Kingston all into the full forward line to take a chance to get that goal.
19 Alan O'Callaghan, one of the players that Mark mentioned pre-match, is on the field. Niall Cashman is making way. Here comes Douglas, a wonderful piece of skill there, and equally a wonderful piece of defending as well too, to dispossess the in-rushing Ross Howell.
Shane is out here loose on the wing if he can get it out to him.
Oh, this is tenacious stuff here, isn't it?
Take her score.
Great skill there by Cadigan yet again. Cadigan from that favoured wing position. On this occasion the accuracy though lets him down and it trails wide, and it's 1 goal and 21 to 20 points, and we're edging 30 seconds. And
that's a
away
6
from the
wide
60th
for
minute.
That's a 6 wide for Douglas in the second half versus 2 from Blackrock. And I suppose in general, if half of them went over, we'd be down to a 1 point game.
Powerful delivery again there by Gavin Connolly. The cornerback is coming out with it. Brian O'Neill opts to go short towards Howell. Spills off him, and here come Blackrock again. Michael O'Halloran on the edge of it there. That's Tyg Deasy applying the pressure out there with Killian O'Donovan. What would happen if we managed a goal now? Douglas up in numbers. Shane Kingston turning. One thing on his mind now at this stage, I'm sure, and that's going to be the ball in the back of the net. Are Douglas going to manage it? No, great defending there by the cornerback Jamie Ryan, Fergal's son, manager of course, and a Blackrock legend. Right as far as Alan O'Callaghan.
That's a great clearance from O'Callaghan.
Oh yeah, now it's Conley, it's on the ball. Goal score a few moments ago. Is he going to go for a second helping? Still Conley, back to his feet, but great defending coming across there was Donncha Murphy. The young man probably dawdled a bit too long on it. Oh, no doubt trying to race onto it. It's gone past him. Moylan trying to get down on it. And the other corner forward there, Robbie Cotter, who's on. Spinning off, and here comes Callaghan down here in front of us. Now, Brian Turnbull. He's got a runner inside him if he wants, but that's
massive
a wonderful block down. Wonderful play by Stephen Murphy there. And the shot that's taken off though in the end has gone wide, but it's still eating up a few seconds. We're into stoppage time now, 61 and a bit minutes on the clock, 121 to 20 points. Hard to see where Douglas are going to manufacture a goal now. Alan O'Callaghan getting on quite a lot of balls since he's been introduced. Racing after it there is Steve Moylan. Back to Brian O'Donovan, back to Killian O'Donovan. Popping it in on the edge of the exclusion zone. The defender though tracking it all the way, and that was the fullback Gary Norberg. Good clearance by him all the way down there towards sweet Tyg DC.
Yeah, it is noticeable that the Blackrock defence have been rock solid there, particularly under the high ball going in. And John mentioned about the three lads going in. The three of them are inside the inside line, and Douglas are trying to work a goal at this stage.
Trying to work a goal, but will they even have time?
There's also 5 or 6 defenders inside there, Mark. They're outnumbered inside there. It's very difficult when you're outnumbered like that and the difficult ball coming in. I think Douglas have certainly more numbers in the half across the half back line and midfield, but they're struggling for numbers up front.
Yeah. You're watching the Co-op Superstores Cork Premier Senior Hurling Championship quarter-final. It's Blackrock who lead Douglas 121 to 20 points. We're at 62 and a half minutes here this afternoon in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Douglas trying everything to manufacture a goal, but it's just not coming off for them. And the momentum now with Blackrock, who have 1 foot at least into the semi-final. A free being awarded there. Looked to be Tyg DC who was fouled on that occasion, and dropped down for young Alan Connolly to come out. He won't be in any rush. He won't be in any rush to take this one anyway, Colm. As you mentioned, 1 foot in the semi-final certainly, and overall, all over the field, Blackrock, the first 10 minutes of the second half, they weren't really at the pace of the game, but they got a bit of composure, and Shane O'Keefe was magnificent. He got 2 points, one off the left, one off the right, to settle the team, and they have kicked on since then, and young Connolly got a great goal as well. He did. He's after getting another score there. No, that is it. That is the final whistle. Yes, it is 122 to 20 points, and it's Blackrock who are victorious. Douglas defeated and dejected, but you have to say all credit to Blackrock.
Yeah, I suppose their form coming into the game this evening was excellent. They had scored 861 already and an average of 320. They've ended up with 122 today, which is pretty much good scoring. The overall context, they did slip out of the game for 10 minutes and only 10 minutes. The other 50 minutes of the game, it was very much 50-50, and slightly, I think Blackrock was slightly the better balanced team overall. They also brought a physical edge to this game, Colm, I think, over, in terms of the size of their players and their commitment to the tackle away. And that's no disrespect to Douglas, because they were outstanding for most of the game, but I suppose a crucial time in the first 15 minutes of the second half when Shane Kingston was inside in his own. There was no supply of ball came into him. During that period, Douglas hit 4 or 5 wides from long distance when you had your key player inside. And that to me was a big blow for Douglas.
And crucially then in that time frame as well, at the other end of the field, we see young Alan Connolly scoring a wonderful goal.
Yeah, that's just again a young lad just out of minor, just 19 years of age this year, to show that have the maturity to, when the chance came in, that was the difference. We spoke about goals before the match. Douglas haven't been getting goals during the year. As Blackrock were held to 1 goal today. That was the difference really in the game. He got a chance, turned it in, and bottom corner, really, really fantastic goal in the context of the game. But to me, there was one standout player to him. Actually, Michael Halloran had an outstanding game. Absolutely led Blackrock in a very, bit of a local derby, as Mark said. Played against their neighbours today, and to produce a performance like he did today. He led from the front. He was exemplary. I think he had a 100% record in shooting, but again, he won a few frees, he won ball, he was able to win the ball. But again, an overall very good game, an excellent game of hurling really from quarter-final championship. It was a standout game that we were all looking forward to, and we weren't disappointed. It was a fantastic game. Fair play to Douglas. I think they really put it up to Blackrock. I think they played really well. They'll bemoan the chances that they had. They had the 5 or 6 wides after in the first quarter there when they had opportunities. Maybe they thought the wind was a bit of a factor to go for it, but they had made the decision to go 1-on-1 inside. They didn't give him the ball into Shane where he looked threatening, he looked dangerous. They might regret that, but I think overall it's been a fantastic year for Douglas for hurling, and Blackrock probably a bit more experience over the last couple of years roll on, and now will take a lot of stopping and get into the final.
Yeah, and the other thing I'd say, you'd have to give fierce praise to Fergal Ryan and John Brown, the backroom staff in Blackrock. A number of the players didn't start or didn't feature today, but they didn't wait around in the second half. The first man in straight after half time, after 3 minutes and 6 minutes, they had both Ty Deasy and John Cashman off the bench.
And what impacts they made?
I think they made a very, very big impact, both of them. And it's going to be a really, I suppose, a hotbed for the next 2 weeks down in Blackrock now as to who's going to get into the starting team for the semi-final, because they will have an eye, I think, on the bigger prize of trying to get to the final. But obviously you take every step as it comes. I suppose an issue they're going to have to get over now is that obviously St. Michael's are playing in the football next week. But look, they have dealt with that admirably all year long, and they're not. It's something that they're used to dealing with as well. But I think overall, I think the Blackrock management used the bench extremely well today. They got the max out of Kieran Cormac. He was really, really good at centre forward in the first 20 minutes, got 2 really good scores and had a physical presence, particularly against Mark Harrington as well for Douglas, who would be seen as a physical player for Douglas. But I think in the overall context, they used the bench well. They got their key players on at key times, and each one of the players made a huge contribution. And you think that Niall Cashman, Alan O'Callaghan and Michael O'Halloran didn't really have any major part to play in the group stages. Now they have a full panel of players to pick for going into the semi-final. They probably have, I would think, outside of the Glen, the strongest panel of players available at the moment.
And just looking down on the pitch, the conflicting emotions, the Blackrock team and mentors and backroom all over there celebrating, round of applause. And then just looking down here in front of us, and I see Mark Harrington down, his head in between his legs here. He's just sitting there as if he's in shock. And I know it's defeat today, but is there a big step being made by Douglas, that victory and the manner of the victory against Middleton 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think they came through an unbelievably tough group, so I think they can take great heart from that. They qualified. This was a big test from today. Probably 2 of their senior players are pushing on, Owen Cadigan and Stephen Moylan. Heartbreaking for them that they might not get a chance to get to this level again. But this is where it gets competitive. Douglas have been building for the last number of years, and I think the decision that the guys made not to play football as well as hurling at this particular contest, because of the time constraints with the competition, probably gave them a chance to play well over in the last couple of weeks. It's very difficult, lads, to play hurling and football over at every second week at the top level. So I think the decision to stick with one and go hurling was the right one for them. I thought they were really good today. I thought they were really impressive. Their work rate, I think their standard of hurling has come way up from where it has been compared in the last couple of years. They'll take a lot of heart from it. They'll be gutted tonight. They'll be very disappointed because there was only a puck of a ball in this. There was 5 points in the end, but they'll rue the chances that they had maybe after half time to really put up to Blackrock. But I think they've come a long way, and I think they can take a lot of heart from their hurling this year.
Yeah, I concur 100% with what Jorah said there, and the loss of Shane Donegan as well. During, when you look at what Blackrock have got back in terms of players, and then Douglas to lose Shane Donegan to an injury during the game, during the course of the training session just this week, he was a big loss because he carries a physical presence as well as full forward.
And as we said, with that wind and everything, he would have been
I think he'd been a big help. But look, the likes of the Ryan Turnbulls, the Alan Cadigans, and the Shane Kingston, they have great futures ahead of them. Douglas will be very, very disappointed today. But they'll still know at the end of the day, if they keep at it, their day will come. There's no doubt about it. I think they've come up against a very, very big physical team in Blackrock, a very, very seasoned team. Like, both clubs must take great credit because they have massive underage both at hurling and football, and this is what they're striving for. They're striving to get to a county final and try and win that elusive county medal. But like, both clubs are really, really going well, and like, it's a credit to both clubs. The standard of the first half that we saw today was probably the highest standard we've seen in all the matches this year that has been played, and that's a credit to both clubs, what they brought to the table today. It's probably a pity that they're not maybe on opposite sides of the draw, because I'd love to see any one of the two of them playing against the Glen. I think the Glen, are really, really good, but I think Douglas, the way they played today, would be quite capable, and so would Blackrock. Like, this championship is hotting up. There's a potential of an all-city final, Joe. I think it's the first time in 30 years that we haven't seen an all-city final. There's a potential of the Glen and the Rockies. I mean, that would be massive, Joe. You're around longer than I'm, Joe, but the big three, the Glen, the Bars and the Rockies, to see a final potentially, and we're talking, there's a long ways to go yet, but potentially you could have the Glen and the Rockies in the final. Let's hope the people will be back, Joe, because I think we could see 10 or 15,000 people come to that match.
Yeah, it has. There's a bit to go yet. I suppose they're in the semi-finals, and I suppose I suppose Blackrock will be, going home tonight and going back to Blackrock and probably watching the Irish Examiner later on to see who they'll be playing in the semi-final, PSHC or UCC, and they'll know there's still a tough road ahead. This was an important victory for them. This was a great victory for them on the road. But they've been building for a number of years. They've had underage success. They've been in county finals before, but they haven't crossed the line. So I think they're strong all around. I think we mentioned at half time. I think the difference for me was that a couple of guys to come on, that the guys who were injured during the season now coming back in. You're going to need 20 players to be pushing each other, so that it takes a 20-man game to win this, and it's not about 15 anymore. And they have a few subs now that they can bring on that'll make an impact on the game.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it at that. My thanks to Ger and to Mark. That's where we're going to have to wrap up our coverage. What an exciting afternoon of Co-op Superstores Championship hurling we've had here, and it's Blackrock who continue on to a semi-final. Douglas dejected and disappointed as they end their involvement in the 2020 campaign. Who Blackrock will be facing, well, that'll all be revealed a little later this evening. Poor old Ger is double jobbing. He's on action at 7 o'clock with Des down in Porky Run. He's the Sambo's packed, he tells me. Nice roast beef, fine for some, whereas Mark and myself will have to make do with the plain ham and cheese. That is where we leave it for this evening. Just to remind you again that our second live broadcast in association with the Co-op Superstores getting underway at about 6:50 this evening from Porky Run, and you'll be joining Des and Ger for UCC v Napirsig. Thanks to all the team here for putting the production together, and thank you at home for watching. Hopefully we'll have your company very soon once again.